Hi guys, welcome back again. So in this session, I'll walk you through on solving questions from paper 4, October-November 2023, question 1. And the question says that one source file is used to answer question 1. The file is called stackdata.txt. So that means I need a source file for question 1. So let's open the Visual Studio. The source file is saved in my desktop source files. So this is it, stackdata.txt. I need to bring in the folder to my Visual Studio. Then I click on File Explorer, open folder, then desktop, then just select the folder source file, and stackdata.txt is now in. Then new file, Python file. Then you can save this anywhere or maybe in the source file. So then we are done, we are good to start. So let's take a look at the question. The question states, the question is on stack, so I will solve this question and also explain what stack is and how to use stack. Now, a program stores lowercase letters in two stacks. So there's going to be two stacks, and lowercase letters are only stored. One stack stores A, E, I, O, U, which are vowels, and one stack stores consonants, letters that are not vowels. So those letters are they are B, C, D, and so on and so forth that are not A, I, O, U. Each stack is implemented as a 1D array. So that means we have two 1D array, one for each stack. Write program code to declare two 1D global arrays, stack vowel and stack consonant. So we are asked to write code to declare two 1D global array, which are the stack vowel and what? Stack consonant. Each array needs to stop out to 100 letters. The index of the first element is what? Is 0. Okay, don't forget we are writing in Python, so we need to use comments as declaration. So let's come back here and declare each of the global variables. So we have global. The first one is stack vowel, and global stack consonant. Okay, stack vowel, stack consonant, and I told you in the previous videos that when you just declare a variable, you must initialize it. If it's an array, you must initialize to an empty array to tell that this is an array. If not, it might be an integer, it might be anything. Okay, then we'll write stack vowel is equal to, so it must ask how many elements? 100 elements. So we don't need to initialize because we are not asked to initialize. Just comment that this is an array of 100 that stores 100 strings or 100 characters or whatever. Okay, so then write array let me say stores 100 strings. Okay, then the next is stack consonant is equal to this stores 100 strings. Okay, now the first question has been fully answered. We've declared the two global variables and we've declared it as an array, and also write a comment that it stores 100 letters, which are also 100 strings. Okay, good. Now that is one AI. Okay, so this is one AI. Now the next question states that the global variable vowel top is a pointer that stores the index of the next free space in the stack vowel. The global variable consonant top is a pointer that stores the index of the next free space in the consonant top. Vowel top and consonant top are both initialized to 0. Write program code to declare and initialize the two variables. Okay, so first and foremost, we have been told what global top will do and what consonant top will do. Okay, but that is not a problem. The problem is to declare and initialize. And don't forget, we must initialize both of them to what? To 0. Is that understood? And both of them are what? Are global variables. So we have to write global. The first is what? Vowel top. Vowel top. Okay. Now the second is consonant top. Global consonant top. So both must be initialized to what? To 0, isn't it? So we have it that global vowel top is equal to 0, and this is what? This is an integer. So you have to write comment to declare as integer, then consonant top is equal to 0, also declared as what? An integer. So that has been answered, okay? So this question has been answered. But before we go, we need to understand these two things. The global variable vowel top is a pointer that stores to the next free space in the stack vowel. So let's try and understand what a stack is before we go to the next question, okay? So that we understand what it is, then we'll use it to solve other problems. Okay, let's talk about stack. What is a stack? If we have a memory location, okay, memory location, what does stack means? The previous video we did, we learned queue, isn't it? Now, but this one is just the opposite of the queue we did in the previous video. Stack is such that this is an item 1 was the first you place down. Then you place another item on top of it, item 2. Then another item, item 3. Another item, item 4. Okay, so if you want to take anything out of this item, okay, the first thing you must take out is 4, isn't it? So because 4 is the one on top, I hope this is understood. 4 is one on top. So this is a stack. Why is it called a stack? It is a last in, first out. If it is a queue, the first item is on top, the second, the third, and the fourth. So the first one came in first. So the first one will go last. So we go first. It came in first, it goes first. So that will be what? First in, first out. But in this case, it is last in, first out. So this is a stack. So this is a what? This is a queue. So we've done queue in the previous videos, but in this video, we're dealing with stack. So I hope that is understood. So now let's try and understand how to use an array to implement stack. Okay, so like I said, the last in that comes in goes out first. So let's assume this is an array that we want to use to implement stack. Okay, so this is a stack array. Remember that the array starts from index 0, okay, index 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the index of the array. And this array has the size what? Size, is it 6 or 7? Size 7, because it's starting from 0. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Starting from index 0. This is just the index of the array. So let's take, for example, we want to add elements 9, 5, 7, 10, minus 3, and 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We want to add these elements into this stack array. Okay, where this is in this order. We want to add it in this order. So the first element to be added is 9, isn't it? Now, from the question, don't forget that this is the first available space, isn't it? So that is the top. So this is the top. the top will point to the first available space. So since this is the first available space, so this variable will point to that point. Now, when you add 9, okay, when 9 is added, so this space index 0 is no longer the first available space, right? So that means you move this to what? To index 1. So this is now the next available space. When you add 5, 5 is added to where? To index 1, isn't it? So this is now the next available space, isn't it? So you move top to the next available space, top. When you add what? 7, this is now the next available space. So you move top to the next available space. Is that understood? When you add 10, this is no longer the next available space. So you move top to the next available space. I hope you guys are following me. When you add -3, this is no longer the next available space, right? So you move top to the next available space. Now, what is the last element? 20. Is that understood? When you add 20, this is no longer the next available space. This is now the next available space, top. I hope you understand. Now, what is the last element to come in? The last element that comes in is 20. It must be the first element that must go out. I hope this is understood. It must be the first element that must go out. So that means anytime you want to send elements out, anytime you want to pop out of this array, you must pop out what? The stack array of what? Of top -1. Because top is now at 6, isn't it? Top -1 is what? Is 5. So you must pop out stack array of what? Of 5. Because that is the last thing that came in. It must be the first thing that goes out. I hope this is understood. So now that this is understood, we now understand why the top is pointing at this position and not at this position. If it was Q, top will have pointed at 9 and never point at these other ones. Because it is stack, top cannot point at 9 because it is the first thing that goes in. And the first thing that goes in comes out last, isn't it? It is the last thing that comes in that comes out what? First. Is this understood? So what is the last thing that goes in? 20. It must be the first thing that comes out. Is that understood? So because top is pointing to the last element, to the first available space, which means this is just a space. Is that understood? So that means we have to pop out what? 20, which is stack array of what? 5. Is that understood? So let's assume I have another item I need to bring in, which is now, let's say 25. When 25 is brought in, top also points to what? To the next. And what is the next? 7. So that means whenever top points to 7, this stack is full. Is that understood? Whenever top points to 7, the stack is what? Is full. When it is full, if I want to pop anything out, is that understood? If I want to pop anything out of the array, I cannot pop stack array of 7, isn't it? Because 7 is out of the array. I have to pop what? Stack array of what? Of 6, isn't it? Which is now was top -1. So which means this formula helps anytime you want to pop out an array. And if you want to know if this array is full, because before you add anything, you need to check if it is full or not, isn't it? You need to check if it is full or not before you add anything. So to check if it is full or not, you must check if what? If top is equal to what? To the 7. And what is 7? The length of the array. Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And why is it 7? Because the index of the array is starting from 0, ends at 6. So if top is equal to the length of the array, then the array is full. So the first thing is to check if the array is full before adding anything. I hope this is understood. So before adding anything, before pushing to the what? To the stack, 1, check if what? Stack is full. So you check if stack is full. And to check if stack is full is to check if what? If top is equal to what? Is equal to 7. Because for this stack example, for this stack array example, the length of this stack is 7. So that means if stack is 7, it is full. If it is not full, then we have to add what? We have to add the what? The new elements. That means if not full, okay? If not full, we have to add the new element to what? To stack array of what? Of top. Is that understood? That means that if this is a stack, if the stack was not full, if this is 5 and the top is pointing at this position, we have to add the new element to this position. Then after adding, then we update relevant pointer to make top to be equal to what? Top plus 1. That is to increase what? The index of top. So I hope this is well understood. So since we understand how stack works, then we can go back to the question to implement that in the Python array. Okay, now let's go back to this. Now, this states that the global variable var top is a pointer that stores the index of the next free space. So instead of top in this example, it is var top for the vowel what? For the vowel stack array. And the global variable consonant top is a pointer that stores the index to the next free space in what? In stack consonant. So we initialize both to what? To 0. According to this, remember when I started, I initialized top to what? If the array was empty. Remember, if you have an empty array, then this is what? This is top, where this is index 0, 1, and so on and so forth. So the top is pointing to the first available space. So since this is an empty stack, so this is the first available space. Okay? So that was why both are initialized to what? To 0, which is exactly what we did here. Initialize both to what? To 0. Okay? So write program code to declare and initialize the two variables, which is what we've done. Now we have an idea of how to solve that question since we understand what stack is, isn't it? So let's move to question 1b. Question 1b states the procedure push data. The procedure push data. So I have to declare my procedure as def push data. Does it take any parameter? Takes one letter as a what? As a parameter. So let me write that as letter. Takes one letter as a parameter. Okay. If the parameter is a vowel, it pushes onto the stack vowel and updates the relevant pointer. If the stack is full, a suitable message is output. So that means that first and foremost, check if it is a vowel. Okay? But this question is not arranged according to my explanation. Because before you add anything, you must check if it is full, isn't it? So you must be careful while reading line by line. Although I said read line by line and solve the question according to what you've read, but you must still understand what you are reading. Is that understood? So now that I understand what I am doing, I know that I need to check if the stack is full before I push. Is that understood? So if the stack is full, so the first thing is check if it is a what? A vowel. Check if the letter is a vowel. So I come back to my code and write that is it a vowel? So if letter is equal to A, okay, or letter is equal to I, isn't it? And so on and so forth. So let me do it this way. Let me just copy instead of typing. Or A, E, I, or O, or U. So this is A, E, I, O, U. So what does this do? So this checks if letter is a vowel, isn't it? The comment is not compulsory, but I'm just writing that comment so everyone can be on the same page. So if it is a vowel, now if it is a vowel, The question says push onto the stack, but don't forget, before you push onto the stack, check if it is full. Okay, you must check. Although the question never says check if it is full, but you must check if it is full. How do you check if it is full? You use stack what? You use the top variable to check if it is full, right? So it is only full if the top variable is equal to the what? Is equal to the length of the stack array, like I've just told you. Okay, so what is this vowel array? The vowel array is 100. It should contain 100 variables. So we say if vowel top, okay, is equal to 100, that means it is full. Is that understood? So we are asked to print a suitable message if it is full. So print vowel vowel stack is full. I hope that is understood. So if not, okay, else, that is if it is not full, then we add that letter to where? Into the stack vowel, isn't it? Then we say that stack vowel dot append. What are we appending? We're appending what? Letter. Dot append letter. So we're adding that vowel, that letter, into the first available position. So if it is a vowel, check if it is full. If it is full, print a message. If it is not full, append it to the first available space in what? In that stack. Is that understood? So the next question now says, if the parameter is a consonant, that is, if it is not a vowel. So we'll just come back to this if vowel and write else. Is that understood? So that means if it is what? If it is not a vowel. Okay, if it is not a vowel, we'll add it to what? If it is consonant, if it is not a vowel, it is pushed onto stack consonant. But don't forget, before you push it into stack consonant, check if it is what? If it is full. So the variable is consonant top. So if consonant top is equal to 100, okay, if it is full, print consonant stack is full. Okay, so if it is not full, else, then we add that letter into what? Into consonant what? Into stack consonant, isn't it? Then else stack consonants dot append letter. Is as simple as this. I hope this is well understood. So question 1b has been answered. So it is not fully answered. It says that an update relevant pointer. I missed that. And update the relevant pointer. Don't forget, when you add, you need to increase what? You need to increase vowel top and consonant top after adding, according to what I explained here. Can you remember? When you add anything, maybe you add 5 to this, you need to delete this consonant top from here and put it at the next position, isn't it? So you need to increase what? Consonant top and vowel top after adding. So you need to add that vowel top is equal to vowel top plus 1, okay, and this is consonant top is equal to consonant top then plus 1. I hope this is understood. So with this, the question is fully answered for question 1b. So that is push data. But before we go, don't forget I told you any global variable must be declared in each of the function, okay? So I have this as global stack vowel, okay, global stack consonants, global vowel top, global consonantal. Okay, so you don't forget to always declare your global variables. Just write it as global only, then everything is fine. You know the reason from the previous videos. Okay, good. Now that we have been able to answer that question for push data, then we'll move to question II. Okay, question II. The file stack data.txt. So now we're dealing with this file that we brought in. Okay, we're dealing with that file that we brought in. Okay, the file stack data.txt stores 100 lowercase letters. The procedure: read data. Read each letter from the file and use push data to push each letter into its appropriate stack. That means whenever it takes any letter, if it is a vowel, put it in vowel. If it's a consonant, put it in consonant. But that is the code excuse me. So that is the code we wrote for push data. Can you remember? So let's write the code for stack data, for read data rather. Okay. Now read data. DEF read data. Does it take any parameter? Let's check. Read data does not take any parameter. Okay. Now read each letter from the file. So before you read a letter from the file, what is the first thing? You must try to open, isn't it? You must try to open. So try with open. What is the file? Stack data dot text. So if you like, put your as file. If you like, put the read mode or not. It is by default, it is what it is read. And I told you whenever you open it for read, it's already opened. So the next thing is to what? Is to read it line by line. And don't forget that after each line, there is what? There is a new character, right? So you must strip to remove the new character. Don't forget. Okay. So as file, then we write for line in file. That means for each of the line in file, we want to read it into what? Into push data. Don't forget, push data requires what? A letter as a parameter, isn't it? Which is the letter we just read from this line. So we write push data, okay, line dot strip. You must strip to remove the new line. I hope this is understood. So which is exactly what the question says, that read each letter from the file, which is what we've just done in this line, and use push data to push each letter into the appropriate tag. So push data will do that for us. We are strip it to remove the new line. Okay. Use appropriate exception handling. So that is a try. So after doing this, then we write except exception as, okay. So write print err. Just print the error message if there's an exception. So this code, so I hope this is understood. So the question has been fully answered. Now back to the question number C, question letter C. Now question C. Now you can see that this writing our code is fast because we already understood what we're doing. We have been able to analyze what stack is. We understand how stack works. We understand the principle and what we need to do with stack before we start writing the code. So which is something that is very important. If you don't understand what you're supposed to do, you waste so much time thinking of what to write. And on the long run, you may write what is wrong. Okay. So that means when you see a question, you must understand the question, understand the structure of the question before you start typing. Okay. Okay, good. Now the next question says the function pop vowel. removes and returns the data at the top of the stack and update what? The relevant pointer. We already understood that here, isn't it? So when you are trying to, don't forget, when I said it previously, when you are trying to remove, you remove top minus 1, isn't it? Stack array of what? Of top minus 1 is what you remove, because top is pointing to the next available space, isn't it? Okay, good. And before you remove, you must check if the stack is empty. Now, that's what one thing I forgot. Imagine the stack was empty. Top was pointing to 0. Then you want to remove what? Anything. You can't remove anything because this stack is empty, isn't it? So you have to check if top is not what? Is not empty. If this is not empty, you must check that before you remove anything. Okay? Now, so the function pop vowel. So let's write that function, which is def pop vowel. Does it require any parameter? Now, removes and return the data at the top of stack vowel. Before you remove, what is the first thing? Check if it is empty. Is that correct? Okay, good. So according to this illustration, to check if it is 0, to check if it is empty, we can check if top is 0. So that if top is 0, that means it is empty. I hope this is understood. If top is equal to 0, that means it is empty. So we can write if vowel top is equal to 0. Is that understood? So we print that vowel stack is empty, cannot pop. Okay. Now, else, if it is not empty, okay, if it is not empty, what are we popping? Don't forget we are popping the stack data of top minus 1, isn't it? So, yes, so that means what is the stack data? That is vowel, stack vowel. Is it returned? Are we returned? Let me go back to the question. It says that returns the data. So it returns, so let me say data is equal to stack vowel of what? Of vowel top minus 1. I hope this is understood. Then you return data. Now, are we done? Let's take a look at if this is done. But I hope everyone understands this. If vowel top is equal to 0, that means it is empty, right? According to this. If top is 0, it is empty. If it is not empty, you return vowel top minus 1, right? And you return data. When you return data, so let's assume it is not empty. We have, let's say, 7 here. Then this is, let's say we have 7 here, then this is top. Now, you have returned 7. 7 has been returned, right? Because you returned stack of what? Top minus 1. So you returned stack of what? Of 0. That was what because this is 0, 1. Top was as 1. You have returned 0. But that does not mean top is now 0. Because when you return 0, isn't it? When you return 0, we are supposed to delete this from this array. Then make sure top is now pointing to that point. So we delete this and make it what? The first space. What do I mean? Let me try and move this to the side so that everyone can understand better. So let's assume this is my stack array. I have 9, 8, then this is top. Top is pointing to the next available space. Now, I want to what? To pop something out. I have checked is top equals to 0? The answer is no. Since it is no, Then I'm returning what? The array of what? Of top minus 1, isn't it? Array of top minus 1. So this is 0, 1, 2. Top was 2, isn't it? Now, returning array of top minus 1 means I have returned array of what? Of 1. Is that correct? So that means I'm returning 8. Now that 8 is returned, 8 is still in that array, don't forget. I returned 8 does not mean 8 has left the array. 8 is still in the array. After 8 has left the array, I was supposed to make sure top is now pointing to 1. Is that correct? So top is supposed to be equal to top minus 1 to point to this, because I have popped out 8. Top should also what? Be pointing to this space. Now, if top is pointing to this space, don't forget when I returned, 8 is still there. The fact that I returned 8 does not mean 8 has left. So I need to delete. I need to delete 8 from that position so that top now points to an empty space. I hope this is understood. So that means that when you check if top is equal to 0, and it is not equal to 0, the next is to make sure that you update top as top minus 1. You delete that value in that position, okay, before you now return the value. Is that understood? Before you what? Return that value. So that when you return the value, because anything after return will not run in the function. Return means that is the end of the function, okay? So which means we need to restructure this else statement by first writing that vowel top is equal to vowel top minus 1. Then data will now be equal to vowel top. Is that understood? Then after returning, do you know the reason why I deleted 1? Because vowel top is now is already vowel top minus 1. So data is equal to stack vowel. Then we write the function delete. Okay, stack vowel of minus 1. So this function will delete the last element in the array. So which have satisfied what we just explained here. Because initially, let's go back to it again. Vowel top is equal to vowel top minus 1. So when you want to pop and you know that top is not 0, vowel top was initially pointing to 2. It now points to what? 1. That is vowel top is equal to vowel top minus 1. Data is equal to stack vowel of vowel top. So that means that the array of top is now stored in what? In data. So data is equal to 8. Then you delete the last element, that is you delete 8. So that top now points to empty. Then you return what? Data. Then we return that data 8. Is that understood? I hope that is understood. So that is pop what? Pop vowel. So the question now states that if data is empty, the string no data must be returned. Okay? If data is empty, the string no data must be returned. So when it was empty, I wrote this. Instead of this, I should have written no data. According to the question, no data. Okay, no data. So the next one, the function pop consonant. There's another function for pop consonant. So def pop consonant. Okay, the function pop consonant removes and returns data from the top of what? Stack, just like what we did initially. So we write if consonant top is equal to 0. That means if it was empty, you print no data. Okay, else consonant top is equal to consonant top minus 1. Data is equal to consonants, sorry, stack consonants of what? Consonant top, then delete stack consonant of -1 return data. The same thing, okay? So it checks if it is empty. If it is empty, it prints no data. If it is not empty, it updates the pointer, return the data from that pointer, delete the previous element, and returns the data. So I hope that is understood. So we are asked to write program code to declare pop vowel and pop consonant, which is exactly what we have done. I hope this is well understood. If you have any questions, you can put it in the comments. So don't forget, we declare your what? Your global variable in each of the function, okay? Don't forget. So let me just copy this. I don't need it in read data. I need it here, all right? In pop vowel, I need it here in pop consonant. Okay, good. Now the next question states that is C is gone. Now D. The program first needs to call read data, calls read data, and then prompt the user to input their choice of vowel or consonant. Now, this is now interacting with the user. Take as input the user's choice. Depending on the user's choice, call pop vowel or pop consonant. You check what the user has given to you. When the user gives it to you, whatever the user gives to you, you first you check if it is vowel. If it is vowel, you call pop vowel. And if it is consonant, you call pop consonant and store the return value. So when you call pop vowel, store the return value. When you call pop consonant, store the return value. What is this doing? You just asking a value from the user and popping it out from the stack. Okay? Now, these three steps are repeated until 5 letters have been successfully returned. So that means this will be done 5 times. If either stack is empty at any stage, an appropriate message must be output. So if the stack is empty, of course, we've written that. Once 5 letters have been successfully returned and stored, they are output in one line. So after you now have stored all the 5, you output them in one line. Okay, in one line. So write main code for main, write the code for the main program. So let's write that. Okay, so let's come back to this and write our main program. Okay, so let me declare the main program as def main. It's not compulsory like I always tell you, but it's good this is done. But if you want to do that, don't forget to declare your global variables whenever you want to do that. Okay, now what is the first thing from the question? The program needs to call read data. Call read data. That is the first thing. Read data is called, no parameter. Read data, call it. That is number 1. Okay. Number 2, take as input the user's choice. So input. So let's say choice. User's choice is equal to input. Enter your choice of letter. Okay. Now the question states, prompt the user to input either vowel or what? Or consonant. So I've written choice of letter, whether it is vowel or consonants. Okay. Now take as input the user's choice. I've saved that into user's choice. Depending on the user's choice, so you'll have to check if it is vowel or consonant. Okay. So if user choice is equal to A, okay, or user choice is equal to E, AE, or user choice is equal to I, or user choice is equal to AEI O, or user's choice is equal to U. Okay, yeah, okay, there's a mistake here, is equal to U. Okay, AEIOU. If it is what? That means if it is a vowel, right? You call pop vowel. When you call pop vowel, does it require any parameter? No. So you call pop vowel. So pop vowel. Okay. Else, if user choice is not any of these, okay, pop consonant. So if it is not any of them, you call pop consonant. So the question now says, the three steps are repeated. So what are the three steps? The three steps is read data, input, and checking the one to call. Read data, collect input, checking the function to call. So these are the three functions, okay? The three, no. The three, it says the three steps. The three steps does not involve read data, but read data is not part of the step. The three step is what? Input, saving, then calling, okay? So this, from this point to this point is the three steps. So I have to put a space there so that I can be able to identify the three steps, okay? Now, it states that the three steps are repeated until 5 letters have been successfully returned and stored. So that means this will be repeated until 5 letters are returned. Don't forget that these two functions will return a letter. Can you remember? It returns a letter. So how do we do that? So before I move forward, I think I made a mistake in interpreting this question. Okay, I think I make a mistake in interpreting this question. The question states, prompt the user to input their choice of vowel or consonant. It did not say prompt the user to input the letter. So can you see? So there is a mistake I made while solving this problem. So the question never says enter the choice of letter. It says enter choice of vowel or consonant. So enter the choice of vowel or consonant. Okay. So if user choice is equal to vowel, okay, is equal to vowel. So that means that I need to make it what? Make it caps. Or sorry, convert it to lower because the user can enter capital letter V or everything in capital, but I wrote vowel in small letter. So I need to convert that to a lower case. Is that understood? So by typing dot lower, okay. So I write if user choice is equal to vowel, pop vowel, else pop consonant. I hope this is understood. So that is what the question states. So I've been able to correct my mistake. Okay, good. Then another mistake I made is why you called pop vowel or pop consonant, it will return data. Is that correct? So while I called both, I need to save the data return into a variable. So I can write variable vowel is equal to, so that is stored into what? Into a variable vowel. Okay. Then write variable consonant. The consonant is equal to. I hope this is understood. So now my mistakes have been fully corrected. So let's go back to the question now. So the idea is do this 5 times, right? That means I need a for loop. Okay, I need a for loop to repeat this 5 times. So that means I need to come back here and write for x in range 5. That is go from 0 to 4. Doing this 5 times, I have to tap this, tap, 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 tap. So if I ask the user to enter the choice vowel or consonant, and I said if user voice is vowel, I think I need to also write if user choice is equal to consonants, since I requested for either vowel or what, or consonants. Okay, so then if I write else, everything still works out well. Okay, so that means this will be repeated how many times? 5 times. Okay, so it says that if the stack is empty at any stage, an appropriate message must be output if the stack is empty at any stage. So that means that while this is done 5 times, the pop vowel can return no data. Is that understood? Pop vowel can return what? No data. So that means that when it asks for the user first times, it checks if it's a vowel, save the value returned. So when it saves the value returned, it needs to check if the value returned is no data or not. I hope you understood. Because if the value returned is no data, that means the stack vowel is empty. If not, it is not empty. So we need to check if variable vowel, the value returned is equal to no data. We need to check that. Like I hope you understand that. Because the question says that if either stack is empty, an appropriate message must be output, and only pop vowel or pop consonant will return no data if vowel is empty or what, the stack consonant is empty. So how do we implement that? Very simple. So I need to write that if variable vowel is not equal to no data, you must write it the same way you wrote it here. Is not equal to no, that means it is not empty, right? Now don't forget from the question says put the letters side by side, right? Put the letters side, so I need to declare another variable letter. Okay, then I need to write letters is equal to empty. Then I write that if it is not empty, that is, if it's not no data, so letter is equal to letter, sorry, not letter, but letters. Letters is equal to letters plus what? Variable vowel. How this is understood. So why is it so? It just concatenates the value returned from pop vowel, pop vowel. The value returned, it concatenates it with this empty letter. Then it goes back again. Okay, it goes back again. So what if it is empty? Else, if it is now empty, okay, if it is empty, what should happen? If stack is empty at any stage, an appropriate message must be output. So then I write else print, okay, here is vowel, right? Vowel stack is empty. Okay, so the question says that if either stack is empty at any stage, an appropriate message must be output. So any stage when the stack is empty, it must output an appropriate message. So The next elif, then I do the same thing for what? For consonant, right? So then I write that if variable consonant is not equal to no data, okay, then letters, then you concatenate the letter, the new return value with the existing letter, okay, plus variable consonant. That is, while it was reading vowel, it concatenates it with what? With letter. It also read the consonant and also concatenate it, okay. Then the next, if it is empty, else print consonant stack is empty. Okay, good. So let's check if we have answered the question appropriately. Okay, so the question states that the program needs to call read data, which is exactly what we did here. Prompt the user to input the choice of vowel or consonant. Enter vowel or consonant, so you convert to lower, say in case they enter in capital letter or small letter. Take input as user's choice, which is what has been saved as user's choice. Now, depending on the user's choice, so if it is vowel, okay, call pop vowel. And pop vowel, remember, is going to return what? It will return a value. It returns data, okay? So instead of print data, that means it was supposed to return. So I think there was a mistake there. If either stack is empty, the string no data must be returned. So not print, but return, okay? So return no data for consonants, for vowel and consonants. So instead of print, return no data. So that has been corrected. Can you see I made a mistake and I'm now able to correct my mistake so that when pop vowel is called, then no data can be returned. And when pop consonant is called, no data can also be returned. Okay. So it says that if either stack, if the stack is empty, the string no data must be returned. Okay, that was C. Okay, now D says that if either stack is empty at any stage, an appropriate message must be output. Okay, so it is empty if no data was returned. So I wrote that if no data is not returned, that is, if a value is returned apart from no data, so you concatenate the value returned with letters, which has been declared as empty. Okay, anytime it is empty, it must print is empty. If it is consonant, take the return value as variable consonant. If no data was not returned, that means it's a value. Concatenate it to existing letters, whether the one that has been added with vowel or empty, else you return consonant empty. So the step is done 5 times. So I will for x in range 5. Okay. Once 5 letters have been successfully returned and stored, they are output in one line. Okay. For example, this. So once 5 letters has been returned, everything goes to one line. So write program code for the main program, which is what we have written. Okay. So let's take for example, this is done 5 times. And after doing it 5 times, it returns 5 things. If it is empty, it writes it. So I think we are right. Then if there's any issue, we see it when we run our program, then we are able to correct that issue. Okay, now let's move forward to the next one. Test your program with the following inputs. Now we are asked to test. So to test, don't forget, we declared the main program as a function, so we need to call the main program, okay, before we can test. So main. So running my program. So the question says test a program with vowel. So let's type in vowel. Oh, there's an issue with the function pop vowel in line 51. So let's go back to line 51 to check what the issue is. So 50 says vowel top minus vowel top minus 1. Oh, that was a mistake. It should be vowel top is equal to vowel top minus 1. So that was a typographical error when I was typing. So in case you have an error from your code, just check the line where the error is. Go to that line to check what you've done wrong, then correct it and run it back again. So let's run it back again. So running it. So we're asked to test with vowel. Then the next is consonants, 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 vowel, then vowel again. Nothing happens, but there was no error, but nothing happens. So let's go back to the question. Is there anything that should happen? Once the 5 letters have been successfully returned and stored, they should output on one line. So we did not output the 5 letters. Can you see? So this is what we skipped. Although the 5 letters were saved in letters. So that means that letters need to be printed out. Okay. So after the 5 loops, then we get out of the loop, out of the for loop, and write print letters. Okay, print letters. So now we're fine. Okay. Letter. Trying to check if I didn't write letter anywhere. Okay, print letters. So which is exactly now it should print letters after the 5 loops. Okay, out of the loop, letters should be printed. So the reason why nothing was printed because I did not output, but the question asks us to output. Okay, so let's go back and run it again. So running it back again. So the first one is vowel, then consonants, consonants, vowel, vowel. So it's as simple as that. So the question has been fully and appropriately answered. Take a screenshot of your outputs, and that is all. So I hope you guys understand this. You were able to learn from my mistake. There are 2 mistakes or 3 mistakes I made. If you remembered, I misinterpreted this question for the choice, whether vowel or consonant. I misinterpreted it for letter, and also there was a typographical error which I saw while running my code, and also I forgot initially that this pop vowel and pop consonant will return value. Then I have to correct that, and I also wrote print no data instead of return no data as required by the question. So now that the question has been fully answered, I hope you guys can answer questions on Stack. Remember to like this video and subscribe to enjoy more content. Stay tuned for more questions. Thank you.